Hello everybody and welcome to Wine Free Wednesday. I do apologise for the late start. My calendar is very busy right now. I'm having lots and lots of new people start working with me one-on-one, which is fantastic. So by the way, if you're thinking, I really resonate with what she says, want to work with her, get your skates on, get that discovery call booked. Anyway, I did want to still come on here live today. And I want to talk about two characteristics that I see as being really, if not essential, but if you can develop these characteristics, it's a really positive sign that you are going to get the result that you want as you change your relationship with alcohol. And I just don't think these things are spoken about very often. So I've jotted down some notes, so I want to refer to my notes. And again, I probably should have done my intro. This is the day in the week, right? Where we just anoint it Wine Free Wednesday and we go wine free because we think that's a great idea and we're trying to change our relationship with alcohol. Anyhow, so back to these two. And this is really important, right? These are, and if you think, look, Anna, I have neither of those. I'm not skilled in either of those characteristics. It's just not a part of my personality. Right, that's the place to start. We want to start getting curious and we want to see how can I develop these. So the first is resourcefulness. And what I mean by this is you sort of have a can-do attitude. You are willing to take action, right? A lot of what's involved with this, people say we just put the glass down, right? It is not that straightforward. If it were that straightforward, then I don't think any of us would have any kind of struggle here. So, but being resourceful, it's like how you see yourself. I can figure this out. In fact, if you work with me, you won't have to figure it out. I have figured it out. I will help you. I will tell you what to do. But this is about being in a cycle of taking action, right? So you take some action and then we look at it and you take some more action and you take action and you just resourcefulness, right? You look, you act, then you evaluate. You've heard me talk about evaluating, right? So we're just in this way of thinking that I'm just going to act. I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to learn from it, and I'm going to see and try the next thing. This is about always looking for opportunities. What this is not is I want you to see this is a complete antithesis of feeling sorry for yourself, right? We're not sitting thinking, oh, I'm never going to be able to do this, woe me, right? We don't get into that. If we're feeling resourceful, right? I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to get there. This is where you stay curious. I truly want you to think about this. I talk about this all the time. If you ask yourself questions, if you have become fascinated in yourself, why is it that I respond in this way when there's stress, that I have a glass of wine? Rather than just saying, oh yes, because it's stress, ask questions. You know, what is going on for me? You will get so many answers. That's being resourceful. Another element of being resourceful is being determined. Now, determined often comes with a side order of, you've got to be really strong, we've got to fight. I'm not talking about that, right? Because that's when we get into willpower. We can have this kind of steely determination that, like, no matter what it takes, I'm doing this. And that, by the way, when I look back at my journey, that was one of the things that I had going for me. I was so frustrated and annoyed that I couldn't figure this out. And I said, I'm just going to do this. I am going to stay the course now. I am going to figure this out. And it's that kind of energy that can fuel you through the hard times, because there will be hard times. And then when it's easier, we can just maybe think, oh, I'm glad I've got that figure it out type attitude. But anyhow, so that's the first characteristic I see in people who are successful. And I really encourage you to develop. And by the way, look to see where you're resourceful in your life right now, right? Have there been times when you needed to buy a particular house, rent a particular house, get your child into a particular school, sort something out, sort some care out for one of your parents? Maybe, you know, at your job, you were tasked with something that seemed impossible and you didn't know what was going to happen, but you looked to yourself and you saw yourself as being capable and resourceful, right? That's what I'm talking about. And how that feels, it feels fantastic. So that's the first one. How we know, by the way, some signs here where we are not being resourceful. So you might want to just replay this video and take notes of these. If you're saying things like, I can't do it, right? We're not in resourceful energy. That can't do it. Nothing is working, right? Nothing's working. That's not going to have us taking action. I've tried everything. Are you one of those people, right? I've tried everything. I can bet you haven't. But if you're thinking, I have tried everything, right? We're not feeling resourceful. And by the way, a good answer you got on that one is I haven't tried everything because I haven't worked with Anna yet. There we go. That's a way to help your brain wiggle off of that belief. And I don't know. There's another one. But that's okay, by the way. That's one I hear a lot to start with. And if you hear yourself saying, I don't know, I want you to pause and just say, well, let me just give it a guess, right? So if I'm in this scenario, I'm not sure what to do, and it's feeling really challenging, it's feeling really triggering, I don't know what would be the next best thing to do, just guess. And again, it's that sense of resourcefulness, because you're not kind of waiting, hoping that something's going to come down from the sky and be the perfect solution. No, you're looking to yourself, asking yourself. And then another one that if you're thinking this or saying this, you are very much not in resourcefulness. I'm stuck and it's not possible. It's not possible for me. It's not possible. And one of the things I offer to my new one-on-one clients when we start is if they are low on belief, that they can borrow my belief in them. Because in my process, I have absolute faith and belief that they will get their result, even if they don't see it yet. So if you're saying any of these things, you're not in resourcefulness. And therefore, think about the action you're taking, likely inaction, right? So we want to get you into taking action, because taking any kind of action is better than taking no action when it's going, we're trying to figure out the solution. So that's the first characteristic. The second one I have here is patience. Now, when people come to me, when we first speak, or even when people start deciding they want to do something about their drinking, they've often been struggling with this for a while, and it seems like it's like enough already. I mean, I really want to be past this. I don't want this to go on for another day, right? The idea of still working on this is like, I just don't want this. And I can resonate with that, because I used to say, I don't want to be thinking about this next year. I don't really care how long it takes. Within that time, I don't want to be thinking about this next year. And so I want to encourage you to go for patience. And what I mean by that is I want you to let it be messy, especially if you're doing this on your own or just following along with little videos like this and listening to podcasts, which is all great, but there's a big difference, right, between the information and applying it. It won't be straightforward necessarily, and that's okay. Just let it be messy. Just going to see, I'm going to try this, right? It's back to that level of resourcefulness. Give yourself time to learn. So important. We judge ourselves on this because we say, heavens, my friends have no trouble with this. My husband is fine with this. Why am I seem to be the only one here who struggles with this? Just be patient with yourself, right? Being impatient hasn't helped, right, all this time. So try being patient. Let it be messy. Be willing to experiment. Allow the action that you take to take root. Super important, right? So I teach... and especially if you've got my book, The Off Switch, maybe you've read that. I lay it out. I've got like a 1, 2, 3 step. 1, 2, 3. You do these things. But, you know, you might try it for a few days and think, it's not working. I want you to let it take root. Habits are built over time. So be patient with it. Maybe something you're trying, we don't always know the impact of it until much later. So be patient with that. Some signs you are not being patient is if you say, and this is so common, I should be further along. I should be further along right now. And we often think that because what we do is we say, well, I tried this thing and I tried this thing and I tried this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing, and none of those things worked, right? They weren't necessarily moving us forward. We were just learning that. Now it's valuable because we know all those things didn't work. We know that doing that thing, that didn't work. So I don't need to try that anymore. But if you're thinking I should be further along, that is a sign we're in impatience. And I want you to think about this. If you had the result that you want, whatever that means. Maybe it's you can just drink a glass now and then, or maybe you don't drink at all, or any of those things. I want you to think about what you'd be able to do, what you would be doing if you were that person, right? You'd be able to say no, and it would feel easy. You'd be planning ahead, all those things. If you're not doing those things today, then you are exactly in the right place. You are where you should be. You should not be further along, right? So we don't want to tell ourselves that. If you're saying, why is this taking so long? Or I should have figured this out by now, right? Those are all signs that we're being very impatient and we just want to give ourselves, right, breathe. We might think that way, but actually I'm doing it now. And what I do today is more important than what I did yesterday, because that's gone. And what I do today will influence tomorrow. And again, if I can, how can I step into resourcefulness? What can I do differently? How can I think? What can I act? What can I do today that's a little bit different, that gets me out of this impatient? And again, if we're thinking, you know, this isn't working, that's another thing that shows we're not being patient. We're just often not giving it time. If you think about how long it took you to learn how to write, I mean, I actually have fairly appalling handwriting now, but if I think of all the years it took me, right? So some things just take time. So that was what I wanted to cover today. I wanted to talk about the traits, characteristics of resourcefulness and patience, and how they are very important in this journey, because they are the energies and that's going to fuel the action that we take, right? These are not directly related to drinking. Actually, these are useful in life, but when we're trying to make a change like we are, when we're going from where we are now to where we want to be, and it feels impossible and all the rest of it, right? It's going to be a lot of things that we need to be doing, a lot of feelings we need to be feeling. I talk about all of that stuff a lot. But if you can go back to, okay, at the base of it all, if I can count on, or if I can develop the skill and the trait of feeling resourceful in myself, and I'm willing for this to take the time it takes, I'm willing to be patient, and I'm willing to learn the lessons, you will get your result. And by the way, when you get your result, you'll have learned it in a way that feels good, and you'll have learned it in a way that feels sustainable. Because when we're resourcefulness and when we're patient, that just becomes who we are. And those are fantastic character traits for anybody with whatever they're dealing with. So that's what I wanted to cover. I do have maybe 2 minutes because I need to prep for another call. So if anybody has any questions they want to ask, I am happy to answer, right? You get this time with me. People pay a lot of money to get time with me. So I'm happy to answer any questions now. Otherwise, as I always say, I do go back and read any comments. So if you have comments, or if you have thoughts about any of these videos and you want to contact me, that's also totally fine. Anna@90dayslater.co. And shortly I will scrape the video off and I will put it on my YouTube channel. So 90 Days Later with Anna Charles, because Facebook removes them. And then finally I will say, right, this is, if you are thinking, I like the cut of her jib, I like what Anna says, this resonates, I want to do this, I want to really encourage you to book that discovery call with me. It is a no strings attached. I do not work with everybody, but on it you will tell me about where you are, and I will lay out, I will build for you, personalized on the call, what it would take to get you to where you want to be. At this point, I've seen so many people, I don't think there's any scenario I haven't coached on. And then we can talk about what that would mean, and you would then be in a position to be taking action towards that goal, and you wouldn't feel alone. You'll have a game plan. I mean, that's what you get with a coach, right? I know what it takes. I've been there myself. I was my first client. I'll give you a game plan, right? I'm completely confident at your ability to do it all, because I just know, I just have that belief. I have developed that belief, and I am very confident in my ability to teach it. And it is fun. I'll just offer that too. It might not seem it. If you're sitting there thinking, this is a struggle, I shouldn't have this struggle, I hate this, blah, blah, blah. But that's great. Okay. Good. So no, but thank you. Excellent. So you know where to find me, and I will see you again next week. And again, little apologies for getting here a little late today, but yeah, it's good news actually. More people are getting help to change their relationship with alcohol. So thank you very much, everybody. I'll see you next week.